We are going to check in with Pete from Packers camp a little bit later, but for the Jags, Pete was there a little bit earlier, a couple of weeks ago, but now we have Evan Washburn joining us from Jags training camp in Jacksonville. So, Evan, I want to kick things off, of course, talking about Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson mentioned to our crew a couple of weeks ago that his confidence has really boosted going into this season. I know you spoke with him a little bit earlier. There's a lot more pressure around the Jags, but a lot more pressure around him as well. When you were talking to him, did you sense that maybe he's feeling that kind of pressure going into this upcoming season?
Jacqueline, I didn't. Maybe that was because he was just happy they didn't have to talk to Pete Prisco, because nobody likes to talk about politics and mayors at training camp. So I kept it a bit more on the football side of things. But in all seriousness, I think you laid it out perfectly. There's comfort. There's command. I mean, he's year 2 in this system. He's year 3 in the NFL. He's tasted success. And let's be real, he has as much talent around him from a skill position side of things as any quarterback, not just in the AFC, but in the NFL. So you couple all that together, and you have a quarterback who's ready not to break out. I think we already saw that, but primed to have his best season. And the thing that stuck with me from our conversation is not just that he has experience, but because of the continuity both with the staff and some of those key players, they can have those offhand quick conversations in game where they can make adjustments by referencing something that happened a year ago or happened 6 months ago. And that's where you really see the leap for an offense and for a quarterback.
Evan, you mentioned the talent surrounding Trevor Lawrence. So obviously we got to talk about Calvin Ridley. We know he's been limited at practice, dealing with that toe injury, missed all of last season, only played in, I think, 5 games the season before. Being at camp, are you getting a sense that he's going to be a playmaker and have an impact right away for this Jags offense?
No doubt, Jacqueline. I'm really fortunate. We were out here. It was a 2.5-hour, fully padded practice with live tackling periods. That doesn't happen much in training camp across the league outside of Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin, but a rarity here in Jacksonville. But Doug Peterson felt like it was important to have some of those goal line periods, live tackling. So it gives you a real window into what is this team building. And to your point with some of those pass catchers, and Calvin Ridley, yeah, he had the toe, not a big deal. He feels like rust isn't really a thing. He's been playing football his whole life at a high level, and he seems primed to, as you pointed, break out. And look, it's going to be a lot of mouths to feed on this offense when you think of Kirk and Ingram and Etienne and obviously Ridley now and Zay Jones. So I think the ideal situation is that they're all a threat equally, and then they're really tough to defend. But Ridley's going to be part of that equation, absolutely.
So, of course, we're all wondering what things are going to look like for Calvin Ridley, but also this Jags defense as well. A lot of questions there. Bottom 10 in sacks last season. Obviously, that's a concern, Evan. They're looking to take a step forward for next season. From what you're seeing at practice, does it look like this defense is improving compared to what we've seen in seasons past?
This is where I think things hinge for this team. I'm confident in what they're going to be able to do offensively and all the things we just laid out. Defense, to me, is the question mark heading into this year. And from talking to people here over the course of the morning and early afternoon, the thought is it's a next step year because a lot of the pieces defensively are young, second, third year guys, and the feeling is this is their time to break out. And look, the pass rush, it always seems to start there, especially when you think about who they're going to have to face over the course of the season in the AFC. Josh Allen, he's done it before, and now he's in a contract year, so you think that's fuel enough. Trayvon Walker now with a couple years under his belt after being that top pick, is he poised for that breakout? So I view it as a situation where all the pieces are there, but it's got to be realized and realized quick because what they're going to face offensively over the course of the season, yeah, their division might be a bit down, but over the course of the AFC as a whole, all you're seeing is top-flight quarterbacks, and your defense has to be able to at least hold themselves and hold up to that.
Even with all those questions for the defense, higher expectations for Jacksonville this go-around. They're favored to win the AFC South. The vibe around the Jags going into this season is very, very different than it was last season. But, Evan, what can Jags fans expect from this team, offensively, defensively, just in general from this Jags team? Are they going to build upon that postseason run that we saw last season?
It's a great word, vibes. It's kind of how I view training camp. It's vibe season, and you get strong vibes here in Jacksonville, a new beautiful facility that we're on the border of right now. And the thing that, from talking to Doug Peterson and a number of folks here, it's about not living that roller coaster of a season where they start 3-7. They want to live more here. So I think fans can expect that they're going to build consistency. And look, they'd love to win every game they play and be a rocket ship this season and be the breakout team. But more than anything, they're trying to build the foundation for what is a team that can be counted on to compete in that ultra-competitive AFC year in and year out. So it's about consistency, finishing game, faster starts. Those are the buzzwords the players and coaches are using. So that's what the fans can count on heading into week 1.
All right, Evan Washburn joining us from Jags training camp. Thank you so much, Evan. We'll let you go before you get just wrecked by the sprinklers behind you that just turned on.
I could use it. It's steamy right now.
I bet. It's so hot.
I could use
there.
a shower.
All right, Evan, thank you so much. And our training camp tour continues. Today we have Pete, the mayor of Jacksonville, ironically talking about the Packers with Jeremy. That's coming up later in the show. August 8th, the Patriots, next up the Broncos, and then the Eagles on August 14th.